Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Well, I guess we've got several names for the show. It's Binging Thrones, a Night of the Seven Kingdoms recap, Squires of Westeros, whatever.
All the above.
We're talking about Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 5. I'm not gonna waste any time, dude. I don't like this episode very much.
Disappointing. Talk about drop the fucking ball, bro. Is this the end of Game of Thrones or what's going on?
Here's the thing, and I'll preface it by saying, like, I'm sure the book stuff, I'm sure it makes sense in some way, and like the people that have read it know where it's going or whatever. I don't have a problem with where the story's going. I quite like the final 2 minutes of this episode. I just, from a technical standpoint, I hated the editing. I hated the decisions, and whoever directed this episode clearly either doesn't know how to stage fight scenes or just didn't want to, because the whole build up to this 7-on-7 battle, you didn't see it. You didn't see it, you know.
And
Fuck
this,
me.
And this was supposed to be the climax of the entire first season.
Everything we've been watching.
Everything was building up to this. And it's not even that. It's just like, this is the actual fight. You know, like, come on, give me a fight. This is Game of Thrones. You know,
yeah.
Like I've sat through your acting enough. I want to see a fucking melee here. Let's go. And it just wasn't there, you know.
No, man.
And if maybe in the previous episode they hadn't ended in the field in the arena with the teams already picked and the ref is like ready to say go, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have really expected a fight, you know. But like they kind of built it up to be there's going to be a fight here. And
the Game of Thrones music, the hand of the king showing up to fight on Dunk's side,
everything.
Hard cut to that. And then this episode starts and we see 15 minutes of a flashback of Dunk as a kid. We meet a female character who's never been mentioned before, who is obviously not super important to him anymore. And we spend a whole bunch of time with her just kind of bossing him around and yelling at him and being a biatch. And then she dies. Spoilers. When that whole flashback could have just been him meeting Sir Arwen or whatever, and then that's it. You know, the whole thing was building up to him saying, "Get up."
That's all it was, and that's all you needed. That's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
Him saying, "Get up," and then he gets up, and then we can actually start the battle, because at that point we haven't seen a fight, and the fight has already started, and they do. I mean, I am let down because I've been boosting this show to people that I know. And now I'm just kind of like, I've been telling people, dude, if you don't watch anything else, watch tonight's episode. You know? And I was like, dude, I hope they didn't watch tonight's episode.
Oh.
You know? Because what is this, mud on my face? What's going on?
It's really, if you're telling people, dude, this is the episode to watch because it's been leading up to the 7-on-7 battle.
Binge the whole thing and then go into this episode live at 7 Pacific time. No,
so we're assuming that anybody that is watching us right now is watching the show. So we don't have to recap how we got to this point, but this one starts out just right off the bat. They're getting ready to fight. It doesn't waste any time. It starts the battle. We get a little POV, which I found a little jarring. Now I know why, because the director just did not want to show the battle scene. So it shows a little bit of POV from Dunk through his helmet. He gets stabbed with a big fucking joust thing.
Yeah, that would have ended it. That's how it should have really ended.
Well, I think it's displaying like his strength
how tough he is.
Yeah, but then he falls off his horse, gets stabbed again. And then it blacks out and does the thing I hate more than anything in movies and television is right when you're ramping up the energy, you cut to a fucking flashback and it slows the pace down to a fucking halt, like completely.
And there's a place for the flashback in the middle of the battle scene where the guy's knocked down. And then he like gets the flashback.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Maybe, half the episode. No, more than half the episode.
Maybe 2 minutes, you know? But like you said, all you need is to get up. That's all it is. And then he gets up and he gets to the battle. The thing that let me down the most about this, I'm just being honest, is that what I love about Game of Thrones, not House of Dragons, because they haven't really done it. They have their own thing. but I thought they would do it here, is where you have the camera follow the character through the battle. And you see, because like, you know, traditionally when you show like a fight, like a battle, like Gladiator or Braveheart or whatever, you know, like it's just a bunch of snips of the extras all taken, like arm off, leg off, whatever. And then they just edit all together and it looks like it's a battle. But what Game of Thrones did, which like brought the technique up, was having the camera follow one person. They did it with Jon Snow and Battle of the Bastards so well, where it's just like him, and like you see everything going on around him, and you see him fighting, but you also see other people fighting. And that's what they didn't do here. You know, like they didn't show, because they have all these matchups set up. You know, you got like the Fossaway dude who is the dude, no screen time. He probably had a massive battle, not just with his friggin' cousin, who he's a dick to all the time, but also the guy who already like stabbed the guy's horse in the throat. He's supposed to be playing like all MMA, and he goes for an eye gouge.
All these setups of characters that are there to fight for Dunk.
None of it.
You have Raymond Fossaway getting knighted. Now he has a beef with his cousin because he lied to him and conned him and fucked him over. You have Baratheon there to fight. You have the fucking Hand of the King there, and we don't see any of these people fight.
Yeah, Baelor and Maekar right there. You know, you got the friggin'. I just want to see the antler get chopped off. I missed that part.
Yeah, well, you didn't know. You don't see them.
I blinked.
You don't see them chopped.
You don't see it actually shot.
You just see them cut.
I want to see an epic battle where like the sword comes in and like the antler flies and it goes like past you, like it's supposed to be in 3D or something. But come on, dude.
Well, see, Battle of the Bastards was Alan Taylor. He's a director.
So I want to know what you know about the directors.
That's a guy. Alan Taylor is a guy that directs films and stuff. Like, so he's directed some of the best episodes ever of Game of Thrones. This person clearly, I've already said it, did not know how to stage a fight, and I love it when you click on like, hey, pictures of episode 5. It's all the battle scenes. They don't show you anything about the flashback, probably because they knew people were going to be bored. Yeah, it wouldn't sell. Yeah, it wouldn't sell.
Take the flashback, put it in the second or third episode. You know, I want my 10-minute character development story arc. Like, to be fair, it was a compelling story. You know, I liked it. I was into it. But like, not in the middle of a fight. Like, you do that so that we care about Dunk and we understand why he cared about. Now it makes sense why he cared about the actress. Like he stepped in to save her, you know, because like number one, she's tall like him, but number two, she reminds him of his childhood, you know, who I don't even know what you call that job.
I guess. I mean, I didn't even until you said that. I didn't even make that connection that she reminded him of her because she was sweet and creative.
No, just physically, just you know, just whatever.
Racist.
But no, but you know, like you understand, like I get that scene, I get it, but don't put it in the middle of the melee. Put that in episode earlier, 3. Yeah, episode 3. Like do that so that when he's actually stepping in to save the girl, you get why. Because it was a little random.
Here's what, like, if you're the editor, I am not letting the editor off the hook.
No, the editor
if this is already storyboarded, written, shot. And there's a perfect layout for how this would be. If you're the editor, you look at it and you go, you know, what we should do is instead of showing all this childhood bullshit with this girl who just dies and is no longer part of anything, why don't, when he falls to the ground and he's trying to get up, we do some flashpoint editing. We do lots of quick cuts of him meeting Sir Arwen and him walking after him. What you do is
get away with it.
You do quick editing where it's cutting back to his face, his eyes trying to regain. He's trying to regain consciousness.
Oh yeah, slipping in and
then
out
you show clips of him like walking, following Sir Arwen for all this time, and then obviously the get up is the final thing.
That's the whole reason for doing the whole thing.
I don't understand why we were just flailing around with him as a kid, selling stuff and like and maybe, you know, if somebody's like, oh, well, you know, it's books, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know. But as like a television show, if you do want to show some of that, maybe start the episode before we even get to the battlefield. we see a couple of minutes of him as a kid. Then it cuts right back. It does a really cool transition where it just, goes from the young guy to him, and then it's the battlefield, and then you just have the battle, and then you cut him, trying to be the squire. You cut that in and out when he's trying to get up from getting fucked up so hard.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you show Raymond Fossilwaite trying to fight.
Right.
And you show the Hand having to take out the King's Guard. Something. We didn't see anything.
Something. There was just like dust. They like threw some dirt in the air in the back, and they're like, "It's a fight." Trust us.
It was all very tight shots, so that you couldn't see what was going on. Yeah.
And it was such a letdown. But the other thing about that was that, like you were saying, just do a quick little montage. You get the character development part, but then you can still, like you said, see all the different battles going on in the back. And then you would actually get somewhere, because when finally
the scene even happened.
No, he had his helmet on. His helmet was bashed into.
Yeah, I don't even know. This is like a production still, but it's promotional bullshit. Yeah.
But
that's the look on my face watching this episode right there.
The whole thing where Aegon or Egg was saying get up, because there's 2 times when Dunk is down, and like the first time that he's down, I don't know why someone didn't just go and kill him, because the part where he's blacked out was so long. Like, if that was in his time in the battle, someone would have just gone there and just like slit his throat real quick. Like just give him a quick jugular, boom, done. And that didn't happen for some reason. So I guess that like we're not seeing that flashback in real time. So it's not even relevant for him. And like if it was, I was thinking maybe it's just his light flashing.
That's why you show that if you have to put in the childhood scene with him and the girl in their little escapades, you start the show out.
Start with that.
That's what you start with, and then transition into him where he is, and that's the battle. And then it's like, okay, this episode started out kind of boring, but it doesn't ruin the pace, because it doesn't just go right into the. Oh, I fucking hated this decision so much.
Unfortunately, I would have to say the same thing about House of the Dragon, because they did the same thing. They totally J.R. Martin did, where they're like, oh no, the dragons are on the way. The dragons are on the way. Like the battle.
That was an HBO decision because those 2 episodes were filmed. For some weird reason, they're like, let's shelve these 2 episodes and make them the beginning. That's what I'm saying,
dude. It's a decision. Like
stupid.
The production team did this. Like the actors, they'll do whatever you want. Some designers do whatever you want. At some point, someone is like you said, saying we're going to put this scene before that scene. So what I'm wondering is, it's not the same editor for every episode.
No, it never is.
Yeah. They're all So even is it the editor's fault or is it the producer's fault? Because the editor
it depends on how much
here's the footage that we want you to edit into an episode. Go.
It really depends on how much.
Isn't the producer who decides which editor gets.
The showrunners are the ones responsible for how this story got told. Because I guarantee you that an HBO Max employee editor for hire, whatever, just probably didn't have much input that they were allowed. It may. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, usually big productions like this, if you hire an editor, you hire them because you want their opinion. Like, hey, this really blows the pacing of this. Like, fucking bad. Like,
personally,
it's the showrunner's fault at the end of the day for just deciding to tell the second to the second to the last episode to tell this like little mini origin backstory bullshit that doesn't really matter in the middle of this battle.
No, and it totally ruined it. But like, in my opinion, if you're going to have a show like this, where HBO in the past, their strength was the miniseries, like 3 episodes, 5, 6, maybe 6 episodes, So like classic HBO, they'll knock the ball out of the park, on the miniseries, the small things. And so with this, where it's only 6 episodes and it's a compressed, it's not like every episode is separate from the previous episode. It's filmed like, where they could drop the whole season and every one episode leads directly to the next one. I think that it takes us longer to watch it than it actually the amount of time it takes for it to happen. Like the whole thing is like each episode is like 1 day, so we're watching it over 7 days, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, and it actually only takes place over a few hours or a couple of days. Okay, well then give all the footage to one editor. have them edit a 3-hour movie and then just cut it into the episodes. Don't, say, oh, this episode is going to be only this part and this episode is going to be this part, because it's not separate stories. It's only one story. It's not like 6 different stories they have to like work to. So I guess it is, like you said, the showrunners or whoever that are just making the decisions. But yeah, it was definitely a letdown. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the last episode. That's the thing. Like this, I will say, completely blew up my expectations, because I didn't expect any of this. I thought we were going to have an epic battle, matchups, showdowns, all this stuff. And everything was literally off camera. But the whole thing with Makor, Makar or Makor?
Makar, yeah.
Makar, sorry. Makar, like dying at the end. I think that's making me think this is not a tale of Dunk and Egg. This is a tale of Egg. I think this is a story, and it's about
that wasn't Makar. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
But this is the story of like how Egg becomes Aegon the Fifth. And apparently he's like a big deal, because then his son is the Mad King that burns everyone with wildfire, that Jaime Lannister backstabs literally, to set the whole war, the rebellion that brings the Baratheons in instead of the Targaryens and all that. But like, this is actually maybe a story about how Aegon's dad and 3 older brothers all get killed off. And it's not really about Dunk. It's not about the joust. It's like, because the whole thing felt so contrived. Like, I really didn't buy, because it's so compressed. Like, it's compressed for the characters, not for us, where it's just days. It's just a couple of days, And I didn't really buy that all of these people would suddenly want to get involved in basically a homeless bum, dude. He's a panhandler, and like they're rolling around just knights for hire, I guess, mercenaries, to put it, nicely. But it's not a story about this guy. Why would anyone give a fuck about this guy? Why would anyone get involved in his fight? And every character that got involved, apart from the younger Fossaway, like Raymond Fossaway, they nailed that. Like, I get his motivation, but everyone else, like even the guy who's I don't know his name, but the guy whose horse got lanced through the neck in the joust.
Yeah.
The dude's got a broken leg. Like, I get that he wants revenge, but now is not the time, bro.
He had one scene where he knocks Arion off of Dunk, and that's the only time you see any of these guys fighting. Yeah, you see him get that one nice shot, which is great, because he did get a little bit of payback. But other than that, all the drama of all these people gonna fight each other, the Hand being involved in this.
Yeah,
so what
fucking Hand gets involved?
What guy? What guy on the Targaryen side is the one that put that hole in the back of the Hand's head?
His brother.
That motherfucker. I missed that. Okay, so that was Baelor. That fucking Baelor. Jesus Christ!
It was.
Why didn't we see that?
He said his mace. So it was either Baelor or else it was what's his name? Let me see the character. Yeah, or not Darren, Arian. The name's
Arian was fighting Dunk the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, so then it was Baelor.
It had to be Baelor, but they don't. Maybe it was Stefan Fossaway, but they don't. They never.
No. He was talking about. He said that he got his helmet bashed in, and it was because of the mace, of his brother or whatever.
Wouldn't it have been nice to have seen that scene?
I would have liked to have seen that fight. So, okay, are they keeping all the footage of all these fights for the final episode? Are they going to actually end? Because usually
it doesn't matter if they go back to it now, because the excitement is gone.
Yeah,
like you don't. What you do is you ramp up that music and you cut back and forth to all these different people. Look, I wouldn't be saying this if they didn't build that up. Like, people could say, "Oh, you're being a simpleton. You just want to see a bunch of fights." No, the whole last episode was building up,
and they promised a big fight.
That's what I'm saying. They built it up so hard, like knighting fucking Raymond to just never see him.
Nothing.
He apparently got into it with somebody because he lived, but he was covered in blood.
Dude walks into it with no armor, because I was like, how is he, like, where's his armor? I've never seen him. He gets knighted, but he has no armor. He has a sword because he's noble, but he doesn't have any armor. Yeah. How are you going to go into that with no armor, dude? I felt nervous for Sir Duncan, the tall, I guess, Sir Dunk going in with just chainmail and a neck guard and a helmet.
Sorry, I've been saying Sir Arwen. It's Sir Arlen. Yeah, my bad.
Of Penny Tree.
Cheers. Hey, social.
Hey, yeah.
Come on now, get in there.
You know, I mean, dude, and this pains me to talk this way because I've been such an advocate and I've been such a huge fan of this show. I'm not saying like don't watch the show, like it's still good. This was just
good, but it was a letdown.
This was just a total letdown episode for me. Not what happens, like what transpires in this episode has huge ramifications coming up. Huge.
It's just story.
It's just the way it was told. It was the editing. It was the direction or lack thereof. Yeah, and it was a guy named Owen Harris. I've never heard of him. He's directed like Black Mirror and Twilight Zone. Sure, he's a fine gentleman, but clearly doesn't know how to stage or block 7-on-7 fight scene, which would have been so fucking cool to see.
And that's manageable. I mean, Game of Thrones has handled much larger battles. You know, like they've shown epic fucking
Alan Taylor, man.
Wars, you know?
Alan Taylor's a good director.
Like they can't handle the friggin' 7-on-7 melee and a friggin' joust. I mean, come on. Like, please.
Okay, and also the way that Arion has been built up, he just seemed very out of character. Like, first of all,
dude,
I'm happy. Hang on. I'm happy that he actually can fight. He's whooping Dunk's ass the whole fucking time. I don't know why he was scared. He's clearly a good fighter. And I was happy to see that. It could have been so easy to have him like cowered behind the Kingsguard or something. But no, he comes out after Dunk and he is fucking him up. I think that's the whole, mystique around like Dunk is that, holy shit, this guy's like Rocky. You can stab him. You can fucking impale him. You can stab his eye and he's still going to get back up. But it was out of character that when he finally gets the upper hand and it becomes just fist on fist, punch. He punches Arion like 3 times in the face. He's like, I give up. It's like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, he grabs his shield and he's hitting him, but he's hitting his armor with the shield,
I mean, that
Dunk must have a hell of a punch, dude. But I think it would have been more impactful if you saw what one punch would do to his face. Yeah. Like this guy's so strong. But no, he was just bleeding. It was just like a regular.
It was like, oh, you loosened another tooth. I quit.
He did not seem like he was beating. He did not seem like he was beating him up that bad to where he would have to deal with his father now for giving up.
Do you know whose dad is pissed after this fight? The guy who bashed his brother's head in with a mace. And it's like, that's how it goes in this Targaryen family.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't understand any character's motivation for getting into this thing because in the first place, they made up the whole Battle of 7. What's it called? Trial of 7.
Trial of 7.
Trial of 7. Literally made it up. Even in Game of Thrones, even in Westeros, nobody knows about it, And it's just like, this is not a thing. And then they go in and like,
honestly,
oh my God.
Had they just fought 1-on-1, it would have had the same outcome on the screen.
Because all we had was
because that's all we saw was that.
Like half of one fight, But like, dude.
Way to build it up for us, guys, and then just not show it.
Oh my God. But I don't understand why is it that Maekar?
It's Maekar. Yeah.
Maekar. Okay. I'm never gonna get it right. Why would the hand of the king, the strategos of this world, the most strategic mind, like if this Targaryen family is so nervous about losing power now that they don't have dragons and they're just mortal, they can't burn cities anymore. There's nothing special about them except for just everyone's scared of them because they've been in power for so long and they got all this mythology about the family and stuff. So they're super, this is the tail end of a dictatorship. They don't have they don't have enough bullets to kill everybody. Okay. But everyone is still scared of them as if they do.
Yeah. They have to put on a show.
They got to put on a show.
Yeah.
And so like this whole thing, like what was the catalyst of this fight? The fact that you've got the son of the heir to the throne and he feels that the family honors and infringe because like some play at the royal joust or the joust the nobles are at is showing a dragon being killed, and so
the world's best puppet show. Give credit where credit's due.
That was amazing theater. I think the theater was better than the friggin' fights.
It was.
Like, oh my God, the theater was amazing.
Much more expressive and interesting.
Oh my God, yeah, it was amazing, and just like the theatricality of all this, the props and everything. But you know, like they're so nervous about the family prestige being honored because that's the only thing that's stopping everybody from slitting their throats because they're horrible people. They've done so many bad things. And even Darion,
that's another person. Like his whole thing was just give me a tap hard enough.
Tap, I'll fall down.
Why couldn't we have seen that?
Show me that. You know, anything. You know, it was like him, you know, getting knocked down or whatever. But like, I don't get how the Hand of the King thinks that it's a good idea when the whole family is trying to show that they are dominant, to show division in the family by getting in on the other side of this whole thing. You know, like he's going against his brother and his nephew. He is now declaring civil war. You know, like he's starting a rebellion.
He was just a different animal from the get-go. Like he just saw Dunk as somebody that, like, you know.
But what I'm saying is that
no, I know what you're saying.
He's throwing it all away on this guy. Like, I don't get it.
It's not the guy. It's not the guy. It's the principle, I think, for him.
It's not though, because
What?
he's a strategic thinker, dude. Like, you don't get to be the commander in chief, you know, without being able to like game things out. And
maybe he just seen enough, and maybe he's falling more towards.
Why for Dunk?
Well, because that's the situation that presented itself. Because maybe he is falling more towards like Daron, who is just like, this whole thing is a fucking sham. Like, fuck it. Like maybe he just want to do something honorable because he's like fucking Ariana is just a fucking little shithead. You know, I've always hated this guy.
My point is that like I don't buy into the motivation for a lot of these characters. For like,
I'm just trying to come up with like
that's what we have to do.
Yeah, well, and now he's dead, you know? So we don't know.
But like instead of us trying to figure out why, show me why. You know, give me the flashback for like Baylor.
Well, no, I don't want any more flashbacks.
No, but not in the middle of this, you know, but like earlier on, you know. And so I really feel like this show ultimately, I'm going to take back what I was about to say. I was about to say that I feel like this show is really being hurt by. Oh, I need a refill, bro. You got that whiskey? I got you, bud. Yeah, you keep going. I'll just bring it on over here.
All right.
Thank you. But I feel like this show is really being hurt by. It's oh, dude, I fucking brain fart. Whiskey is all I can think about right now. No, but
you're trying to think of like why is he doing this?
Yeah, why is he doing this? You know, like why is he getting involved in all this? And like I don't get the motivation of anybody, and so it didn't feel believable, and it's just really kind of a letdown. So I really hope that we're going to get something better, not just from here, but also from the House of the Dragon. We were definitely let down at the end of that, and I don't know. Like I'm wondering if this is the sort of the part of the HBO Game of Thrones franchise.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, bro. Social. Like, is this the part of the franchise where they're just trying to market as much as they can, like sell as much content, not even sell as much content as they can, milk every last dollar out of it. You know, like, are we seeing the Marvel Universe? Like, I love seeing X-Men 2, X-Men 3. That was amazing. But
I don't want to put this show
ultimate, like New Avenger, Galactica, whatever. Like,
I don't want to put this show on that like negative pedestal yet.
Is that where we're going?
Well, no, because I don't think so, because this is clearly a very small side story that I don't think anybody was clamoring for. And I remember when I first heard about it and you and I were like, oh, there's a new Game of Thrones show coming out. I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. So I felt like this was a passion project where they really wanted to tell this story to give us something different in the world of Game of Thrones and Westeros and everything. And they have. This is very different. It's funny. It's more lighthearted. This was the most serious episode. Obviously, there wasn't any levity at all in it. Nothing, you know, because how could there be? But I don't want to go into that conversation. I mean, you're welcome to mention it, but I don't want to put this show in a conversation of like, oh, they're trying to milk stuff. That's where there was going to be there was going to be a Jon Snow show. There was going to be a show with what's her name, Maisie Williams, Arya, which I think is like still in this weird development where those are where you're milking it because you're telling stories that weren't written on the page in a book. This, to me, this was a risk because it's so small and it's just this slice of life sort of, hey, here's what else is going on in Westeros. It's like Seinfeld for Game of Thrones, you know? So I don't want to put this there yet because it had one episode that I just think what was wrong with this episode was the execution. It's still telling its story. I just wanted to see it rather than, because and if we
make it up for them.
Well, and if we get into Sir Arlen, and it's like, oh, cool, now we get to see how he was a squire. We've already talked about, you cut out that whole thing with the girl because it doesn't matter at all. You know, that whole thing doesn't matter. We meet this girl, she's a bitch.
Development, but it does serve for plot development. Why he cared about the actress and all that.
Fine, but but
show me that before that. Therefore, I would understand why he got so into that actress.
But my point is, we as people that are watching the show, specifically in episodes 1 and 2. We're visualizing in our heads exactly the relationship that Dunk has with Sir Arlen. We already figured it out. The guy was kind of a drunk. He was probably telling Dunk that he was this great knight, but we know it all. That flashback didn't show me anything that I didn't picture in my head when you're hearing about it and the way he would talk about Sir Arlen.
What I do want to know more about is like the Targaryen family dynamics. You know, like how is it that, you know, like Baelor and Maekar, you know, like they're brothers, but they're against each other, and like the hands turning against the throne.
Yeah, they don't go into that at all.
None of that.
I would have liked a conversation.
I'm in the dark. I don't get any, and that's what I'm. It's called Game of Thrones. This is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but that's a cop out. You know,
I would have liked. Well, you can't have it now, obviously, because Maekar dies. But just a little moment where Baelor and his hand have a conversation where his hand's like, you know, this is bullshit, right? Like your son's just a fucking idiot. And this guy, this hedge knight's nobody, but he's right. You know, like if you had something like that.
I'm going to stake it all on the guy who's right. The right bum, rather than the prince. That's not a strategic decision, you know?
Well, that's what the show is, you know? Like, I get it, but...
And that's why I'm so let down by this episode, because the whole show is based on this episode.
No, it is.
This fight, you know?
This fucking fight sucks.
The only way that they can salvage this is if we actually get the fight in the last episode.
No, that won't salvage it, because we
already know the outcome.
The intensity's gone.
Yeah.
I
don't even know what they're going to show in the last episode, because I thought the last episode was going to be like, Dunk gets his. I thought he was going to ransom the friggin' prince, and he was going to get like a massive reward, and that was going to be his. Like the payoff was that therefore he would be allowed to squire Egg. But now I'm like,
well, now you have the Hand of the King dead, who fought for Dunk, and you can already see it in Dunk that he's devastated that this.
That dude's going to get his throat slit in the friggin' hospital real quick.
You know what I really think.
Dude, as little as House of Dragons showed, it was more than this. More, you know, like House of Dragons has.
Well, House of Dragons is 10 episodes, an hour a piece. You know, well, sorry, season 2 was only 8 episodes because they decided to take the last 2 episodes off.
You can't do 30-minute long Game of Thrones episodes.
It's worked so far with this show until tonight, because you know what it is. You have precious real estate with 30 minutes. Like you have, you know, the reason that this show has worked so well up to this point is because, like you said, say that they tell the editor, here's a 3-hour, make this a 3-hour movie, and then we will tell you where each episode sort of ends.
Yeah.
And up to this point, they've ended perfectly, like right where they should end. It's a perfect placeholder. You put your bookmark on the page.
Tune in next week.
You put your bookmark in and you close it and you reopen it, and there's a whole new chapter to start. That stuff that has worked so well with the show. I think I think this show is going to have a big spike in viewership when it's over, because people are going to just binge it.
Yeah, binge it.
Yeah.
And it's not set up as a binge. Like the timeline is the way that one episode ends and the next episode picks up right there. That is set up as a binge. But because the editors are all, you know, scattered and they're not showing one coherent story, it's just not working, you know, and you know, it's coming out of that. But I'm really hoping that we're going to get something more in the last episode. I mean, we can't expect the fight. Hopefully, maybe we get a little bit of political intrigue, but that's not even what the show is about. it's a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a Game of Thrones story.
I think we should actually spend some time on this live stream because we disliked the execution of the episode so much. What is the final episode going to be like? Because a lot of people that have read the book say, yes, this is going to be the battle. And the next one is all ramifications and everything of what transpires in this episode.
That's what I expected.
But now it's like, okay, so what is there? Like, let's list it off. So the hand of the king is dead from the king, I guess. That's what we think.
The heir to the throne.
Heir to the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
I guess the other battles don't matter. I mean, you have
like that's the one we should have seen. Right?
You have
we should have seen that.
You have Sir Lionel Baratheon.
Wait, hold
who's
on.
never shown.
Is Baelor dead too? Is this the thing that's like? Does Baelor die here, and then?
No way, because.
And then, like,
because dude, if the heir of the Iron Throne died in this fight, they wouldn't give a shit. Like when he's telling Aerion to like yield, like they would have been, oh my god, like there was no.
Yeah, no, the audience reaction would have been on.
It would have been totally different.
It would have been like, oh, this prince is submitting after he got punched. Those people are going to demand a refund.
I think you're gonna see
£3 for this joust, and I demand a refund, sir.
You're gonna see a huge Targaryen shakeup because now they don't have a hand. They're gonna even though Dunk actually won that 7-on-7 or whatever, he's gonna be like public enemy number one because the hand fought for him and died.
He's gonna get a throat slit. No doctor's gonna see that guy.
Now we know that
bleeding.
We've been waiting to see him in action, Dunk, and now we know he can't fight.
He can't fight.
He fucking cannot fight.
I learned sword and shield, and I've tilted its circles or whatever.
Sheer luck is how he won that. Like he got his ass handed to him. Dude, I got way more
medically viable.
I got way more respect for Aerion because he beat the shit out of Dunk. The way that he conceded was dumb. Like it just
didn't make sense.
No, it didn't make sense.
None of the characters' motivations getting into or out of this have made sense, other than Dunk has to be the underdog who is the lovable goof who you're rooting for. You know, like every female character.
You don't like Dunk, yeah?
I love that. No, I mean, he's a likable character, right? You know, like the actor's doing a great job. And the costume and sets. I will say what is good about this is the fact that I'm not questioning that I'm in Westeros. I'm in Westeros. I am with a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, they show King's Landing and Flea Bottom in this.
Landing, and it's coherent within like the chronology, like the way that King's Landing. I think it's a castle in Dubrovnik or something, you know, over. And, you know, like they probably used the same shot of the castle in Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, but just CGI'd it differently to show, because you're talking about like a couple 100-year time span. So a city will develop over time, you know? And so you're like, those shots are amazing. I love seeing that. Obviously the quality of the set design, costuming, acting, everyone does what they're told at top notch, except the people at the top. And that's, you know, I guess that's going on these days, but, you know, but like they just kind of really did a good job, even the use of the CGI, because Game of Thrones, what do they use CGI for? Dragons. And you don't have that. So what's Game of Thrones without dragons? It's just normal people. It's a medieval, like, you know, it's Willow or like, you know, Braveheart or something like that.
Willow.
Yeah, it's Willow or Braveheart, or, you know, Willow if you're, because Knight of Seven Kingdoms is funny, so kind of Willow. But it's
or fucking Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's more like Monty Python and the Holy Grail than Braveheart. But it's just kind of
the shot was not in the episode.
No, there's so many shots not in the episode, dude.
This shot not in the episode.
No. But I like that the guy didn't have a helmet off. Like they wear helmets in this, and the only time they take the helmet off is for the shots, which is cool, because I hate it when you see like a war movie and someone goes in with not wearing a helmet. Like, bro, the one thing you cover is your brain.
Well, I mean, no, and Dunk's helmet saved his fucking life.
Saved his life.
When Arion came at him with the fucking balls.
The mace, dude?
Yeah, dude, with the mace.
The mace to the head.
Whacked him right in the head.
Dagger right to the eye.
So,
I
but
mean,
after
the prosthetics,
when you're
all the makeup,
flailing around on the ground and you can't see 2 feet in front of you,
or here.
take the fucking helmet off. Like,
yeah, take the helmet off.
Well, because he's wearing like that. Yeah, like I'll wear that. Like he was wearing a helmet where you have 2/3 of an inch of eyesight to see through,
which is kind of like
that's what you wear when you're like when
that's
you're that's when you're a pawn in you're in the first wave of a giant battle. You're wearing one of those because you're meant to die. Yeah, you're the first charge. Maybe one of you comes back somehow, but yeah, for the most part, you don't wear that when you're trying to fucking one-on-one sword fight with someone. You can't see anything.
No, you can't. But they did such a great job with like the prosthetic makeup on the eye being swollen, and just the dagger through the helmet. I really dug all that. But especially what I was trying to say before with the CGI, there's really no dragons. There's no big epic CGI, and that always detracts because the technology is always dated by the time you see it in the theater or see it on TV show. It always looks bad. Sorry, I almost broke something over here.
No, you didn't.
Almost. But anyway, it always looks bad because it always looks dated. You can tell it's fake. The only CGI that I've really noticed is like when Dunk's like young, like love interest gets her throat slit, or when Makar gets the back of his head bashed in, and you put that little green tape or whatever color it is over the actor, and then you CGI in like a flesh wound that shows it's actually going into the body.
Right.
Because when you do makeup, it's always on top of the body. Mm-hmm. And you can see that's a perfectly healthy human, they're full of blood, they're plump,
I've always
said someone who's been bled out.
I've always said CGI is best used for enhancements.
Minimal.
For enhancements.
Minimal. No. Exactly.
It enhances things that are like when you do something practically, but it just needs a little nudge.
Extra,
yeah.
Like for example, the landscape, they take an actual castle, Dubrovnik or wherever, and they add stuff to it. Depending on, is it in House of Dragons when it's smaller? Is it in Game of Thrones where it's maybe bigger? Is it here where it's a midpoint? And the same thing with There's No Dragon. So like with a head wound, you could see inside the actor where his skull should be. And you only do that with CGI. They did that a lot with Game of Thrones whenever they would show like the undead, the zombies that would come back. And you'd have like skeletal remains, like especially after they got into the Battle of the Wall and like where all the the White Walkers are coming down.
I read something the other day that I did not know, and tell me if I read wrong. The what's the main White Walker called? The Night,
like the Night King.
The Night King is not in the books. Like there's no Night King.
No,
that's what I read. That's what I read.
No, the whole thing is about the Night King.
That's what I read. I'll cut that out. Oh wait, I can't.
Did you see that on YouTube?
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I might be misspeaking.
Dude, if there's no Night King, there is nothing for this whole world, because this whole world.
Just what I heard. Just what I heard.
I saw it on Reddit. It's true.
No, I don't go on Reddit.
It's fucking
kidding me. Hey, you know what? It's time for a break.
Oh, with a dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's not, aside from just kind of bitching about technical aspects of the storytelling of this episode, like there's not much to dissect, but I mean, we did have a major death, I guess, if you consider a character that was introduced in episode 4. But you can tell like shit's going to go down from that, because while he's alive, I don't know if he promises Dunk sort of like a night ship with them.
That's the thing, is like Dunk is like, I'm your man.
So he now wants to serve the Targaryens.
No, he wants to serve. No, he wants to be a vassal to a specific person, because that's how Lord Vassal is a personal relationship where like, I am your.
I didn't know what he was asking.
Yeah, no, he was asking to be a vassal of Makar, and Makar was like, yeah. Dude, I need good men on my team, like.
Did you see? Luckily, you didn't see me fight, right? Like,
because Makar knows that he's made a statement here. He has turned against the house. The hand is turned against the throne, And he understands that. So he's like, I need good amount on my side, but he's got the back of his head bashed in while he says that. And when his helmet is revealed, released, you can see that nobody knows. He's like, yeah, I will send my best maester to you once he takes care of my brother.
So what was
his brother's hurt?
What was Dunk expecting to get out of
Number one, life-saving medical treatment. Number two,
well, I know that. Well,
Yeah.
he was giving that to him anyway.
No,
He said send my guy over.
He said, I will as soon as he's done taking care of my brother.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no one else knows that. He hasn't told anyone else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The next episode is going to have a lot of them going, well, I was going to be this for Makar, but clearly no one heard it except for some people that you won't find very reliable.
Well, instead of just showing Dunk like scrambling for his life and scrapping together a team, I'm sure he's just going to give a dramatic speech in front of a bunch of silent people, and they'll all take his side because
this
he's
guy
right,
hates Dunk.
Yeah, I love Dunk. It's just like, dude, fuck me, dude. Come on. You can't have the usual tropes with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones didn't just reset the standard for historical epic battle stuff. It was the new standard for TV. It's the first time main characters could get killed off, and you don't see that with Dunk. Like, he's never in danger. I don't care how many times he gets stabbed, he's not going to die, dude. In the flashback, it showed him get stabbed in the back of the thigh, and he just doesn't even limp. He's not even limping, and they show a gaping wound that's going to get gangrene because he's following a drunk into the forest. Like some bacteria.
Clearly, he's drinking bad water because he drinks it and then just immediately pukes.
Yeah, he's drinking mud water.
Yeah, it was mud water.
It was straight up mud water. Like a little bit of cholera.
Dude, the guy that plays Arion in real life, tell me that's not like a real to life vampire.
He's a vampire.
He looks like fucking Lestat. He looks like Lestat, dude.
That dude needs to eat. He's a little anorexic.
He fucking beat the shit out of Dunk, though, man. He fucking had him, dude.
Great job, and that's the thing is that his dad Baylor is like, why aren't you just going to kill this guy? Because Baylor knows his son is all he's done is practice how to fight. He's got the best armor, and really what he needs is the armor and the weapons and the horse and all that advantage against someone as big as Dunk the Tall.
Because they were setting it up that he was just a big puss and he was going to hide behind the Kingsguard. And no, he goes after Dunk 1 second into that fight and immediately fucking takes him off his horse.
You know what it is I feel like this is Aerion Targaryen. I feel like he is a person who cannot have a blemish on his name. He can't have any of that.
Well, he did now because he fucking said, I quit after getting punched in the face a couple times.
But what did he actually say? He said, I retract my accusation.
Well, that's exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. But what I mean is that he can't get killed. He can't get maimed. He can't get injured. He can't like have a limb cut off, or like he can't walk around like that. He has to always be the golden boy.
Dunk lost that fight.
Dunk lost that fight.
Yes, he managed to save his own life by having him retract the accusation, but he lost that fight
in every way.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he should not be alive. I can't wait to see how it should have really ended.
Dude, if I was Makar,
Dunk should have been dead in the preview. He was 12.
If I was Makar, I'd be like, dude, what good are you to me now, dude? You've been stabbed like 18 times.
Makar was like, I guess Makar's take is he can take a beating and
that's what you got out of this episode. He has no idea how to fight, but he keeps coming. But the directing was so bad. The music never rose. We never got that like chills.
That was the other thing, because here's another way they dropped the ball. What do you call the music? The
score?
Score, yeah. The score. They really messed it up, because the whole thing about this,
they did.
At the very beginning, in the very first episode, they were trying to show this is not the dramatic, noble, dynastic backstory or whatever. This is just some fucking guy.
Yeah, well, that's what the show is trying to tell you.
They did it with the music, because they started doing the dun, 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 dun.
And then he takes a shit.
And it's just the guy's ass sticking out behind a tree, just taking a shit. And like they're like, okay, you're going to laugh. This is not Game of Thrones, right? And then slowly over the episodes.
Yeah, they really build up to the
building
theme
up
song. Yeah,
the music, you know, like they're building up the music, and they're making it closer and closer to the score. You know, dun, dun, the intro theme, and like I thought they were gonna end this episode with that, where like Dunk has vanquished the prince, you know, knife to the throat, like, you know, like, and everyone's watching or whatever, and they'd be like, dun, dun, and it's not.
Nobody thought like you have your sound editors, your music supervisors, your editor. No one thought like, hey, shouldn't this scene be like really dynamic and explosive? I have a show on this YouTube channel called Film and Vinyl, where I talk about like the effectiveness of what music does to films. It tricks your brain into feeling things if maybe you weren't feeling them without it.
No, music is emotional.
Braveheart does it the best with freedom. Imagine that scene, but with no music. It would be like weird. And you know, in this episode, like you had the opportunity to end it the way you did in episode 4 when Maekar shows up to fight and the Game of Thrones music hits. Like it's chills.
Would have landed it. Would have stuck the landing. You know, but
it just didn't. God. It seemed like they just didn't even know what. Again, it goes back to if you don't know how to direct like action or fighting or something like that, it can really show when you're tasked to do that. Because this person was scared to show combat on camera. This director
did everything to avoid showing it.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is this the HBO B team? Like you know, the actors are doing great set design, but like the production team, is this like?
I doubt it. It's a Game of Thrones product, so it probably had top notch.
Not the top notch because the top notch is working on House of Dragons and they kind of messed it up.
I have no idea. I mean that's a deep dive. I'm not very interested in jumping into, but yeah. I definitely don't think that it's a B team because this is still a property of Game of Thrones. And again, up until now, it has really been satisfying with its pacing, its comedic timing, really getting to know and like the characters. I just don't know. This episode just seemed like everyone was on mushrooms or something and just fucking didn't care. Or just like at the end of a 2-day drinking bender where it's like, you're there, you're working on it, you know the final conclusion, but you're not paying attention to the details. I don't know. I've worked on Cinema Goat videos before where I was just hammered and some of the best shit I ever did. But there's also other times where it's like, oh, fuck, that sucks. You know?
Well, they're going to have to pull the rabbit out of the hat for this final episode. I mean, there's got to be something, you know, and honestly, like whatever they do, it's not going to do justice to this show because the only way in my mind that it can actually become something good is if you get something about the backstory of the backroom dealings of the royal family and all that. And like, you know, now like Maekor's dead, maybe like Baelor's on death's door, you know, because he needed a maester and Maekar didn't think he needed one. And, you know, like maybe
what's a maester again?
They're the only people with an education.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're basically like the professors,
which Dunk clearly doesn't have.
Yeah, like the maesters. There's like different specialties, but
who's a maester in Game of Thrones?
Sam becomes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, Sam is like the smartest
to
motherfucker.
Yeah,
he goes to the Citadel and reads books forever.
Maester means professor. You know,
I love Sam.
Sam's great, you know. But I'm gonna go back and rewatch.
Killed the White Walker.
He did first to do it.
He was
Sam.
Great character.
But so they're gonna really have to do something about like either the dynastic politics in order to make this last episode make the series worthwhile. Like this whole, because I think the second and third seasons are kind of pointless if this first one is just BS, you know. So they're gonna have to salvage it somehow. Maybe that. But then that's not Night of Seven Kingdoms. That's about, you know, the Targaryens and all that.
That's more House of the Dragon.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what the show is.
I don't really think it's going to go too deep into that stuff, especially in 30 minutes.
Yeah. So the other way they could pivot would just be like 30 minutes of like maybe Dunk kind of running from the law, and like Egg is like, I'm gonna run away from home and secretly back you up, or something. I don't know, dude. What are they gonna do?
I'm still invested, so I still can't wait to watch it. I'm
gonna tune in to find out.
I want to see how this episode plays when I watch this all as one giant 3-hour movie. Does it really? Is it going to be the same, where it kind of just sinks it all down, or because it's part of a bigger structure of 3 hours, does it fit in better? But when you've been waiting, not a week and 2 days,
only the final episode will answer that question. You know?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't wait
to stick the landing.
I can't wait to watch this whole thing.
Yeah,
as one big thing. And is this episode still going to be like a stain in that? Because, well, I don't know. Everything's in hindsight because now you've seen it. So, you and I were just like fucking so giddy, like just getting ready to start this episode, and then right when I don't know if you heard it, but it was a pretty like audible groan when it went to a flashback. I was like, oh no, but I didn't know it was going to go on for most of the episode.
I thought that when Dunk, before he would smother that last night, I thought that last night, like the guy under the horse, I thought that he was.
You thought that was Arlen?
I thought that was,
No, he didn't look anything like him.
No, but still, I was like, okay, there's Arlen Pennytree. This is how they meet. Dunk rescues him, but then like Arlen rescues Dunk or whatever. But he's like, but really what I thought was that like Arlen would go like and come back to life, and like that would be Dunk's inspiration. And that's what I said to you. I was like, dude, watch. No, you're just going to be like, inspire Dunk to get back up. Then we're gonna get the
I like the way he meets Arlen. I just didn't need everything before that. Like because this girl is introduced and she's very unlikable from the beginning, and then she just dies, and then Arlen comes out and kills these two guys. Like,
well, I guess that Arlen and Dunk met because she was murdered.
But you could have done that in 2 minutes.
But how would Arlen know that? You could have done 2 minutes, but just like logistically, how
did he hear that like someone's throat was getting slit?
He's in a bar. He's drinking. He's drunk. It's loud. He's it
is funny though that
how does he hear that?
It's funny when
innocent girl was like in the first place she's the thief, and like she's like stealing from the king's guard, and like they kill her, and a knight might support that.
Those guys weren't king's guard.
Yeah, they had the gold cloaks.
Oh, they were. Oh,
well, no, the one dude has a gold cloak, but the other guy was his accomplice. Well,
I just love it that when you finally see him in action, he's just a pretty shitty knight. Like he's hammered. Yeah, he's
hammered to kill the two guys, but
he bests those two guys, but it's very sloppy.
That was really close quarters for a broadsword, dude. Like,
yeah,
like that. I don't see like the sword would be like, oh, I couldn't.
Well, he ends up killing the other guy with just a dagger. Yeah. But you're right.
It was awkward.
I think it was awkward. I think it was staged kind of awkward. That fight was better than anything we got in the fucking battle.
It's the only fight we had. Come on. Like, geez, give me something. Dude, the last episode, number one, I'm going to say it better knock this thing out of the park. Number two, I'm going to say it's going to break my heart.
Yeah. I know. I'm curious, dude, but I don't know where it's going.
No, I'm gonna watch it, but like I'm not optimistic. But hey, if my expectations are low, maybe I'll be surprised. But after we finish the live stream, we have to go rewatch the actual Game of Thrones, because that's the only thing that's good about this whole series, dude. The Game of Thrones, amazing. Like broke through.
I like them all. I mean, I
like them all. And I love
House of Dragons. Like I watched House of the Dragon season 1 first, and then season 2, and that's when you and I started doing these binging Thrones streams, and that got me to watch Game of Thrones. And then when I watched Game of Thrones, I'm like, man, I should have watched this a long time ago. This is so fucking great.
Yeah, it was great when it first came out. Like
I'm one of the people that's like, yeah, the ending wasn't great, but it doesn't ruin the show. Like, yeah, it sucked, and you can watch AI recreations of how it should have ended, and it's pretty great. I didn't like how it ended, but
no, but that's like 2 episodes out of 6 years or 8 years or whatever it was. Like it's not that bad.
8 years, 8 years.
It was 8 years, and you only mess up a couple of times. Not bad. It's just as memorable when it's the end.
But it got me. It got me. My point is like House of the Dragon to me is like it's It's very stripped down, politically driven. It's not
Family
very
drama,
exciting.
women-oriented.
You don't really like anybody because they're all awful people, but that's what got me into Game of Thrones. So I have to give it credit for that. That's what got me hyped for this show.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, like I love Game of Thrones so much that I'll give everything a chance, but I want to get back to what made Game of Thrones great. And I feel like now we're kind of getting more towards just mainstream TV and stuff. And that's not what Game of Thrones is all about.
I want to say hi. Can you read that? I'm a little far from the
Blood Raven skin changed to become Maycor. Anyone agree with me?
Sure. I mean,
dude.
Can you elaborate? And I'm stoked that you're here, and thank you for the comment.
Zaire, Babylon, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Neither of us read the books.
Oh, okay. So that's definitely a book detail, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing. Yeah, no, but
thank you for being here.
No, I appreciate you. We drink your cinema.
Okay. Oh, I thought there was another one coming. I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
Ding dong! Ding dong!
Sorry. I moment of awkward silence. So
awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Irish whiskey.
Dude, I'm gonna watch the next episode. I'm a little disappointed. I hope they stick the landing, but I'm gonna be here to find out. I love the world. Execution is amazing so far as like sets, acting, all that. Like I believe I'm in Westeros. I'm not complaining about that. You know, this is a right use of CGI. I don't like too much. I don't like too little. You know, they really sell it. And I just really feel like it just came down to just the showrunners. Even the editor, I would say the editing is bad because
it was terrible in this episode.
But even that, I would still put it on the showrunner. I don't know. I think that.
Oh yeah, the editor didn't.
Yeah.
When I say it's bad editing, I don't mean the editor doesn't know how to do their job.
Yeah.
It means that
when you're only given this much film,
you have
to make something out of it.
They were probably struggling to tell someone like, look, this flashback kills the pacing. Can we move it to the beginning? You know,
it's too late at that point. You know.
Yeah.
You know, they should have done better. I just really hope they do better on the next episode. Otherwise, there's no point in the next two seasons.
Well, I think each season is going to be a totally different adventure, like because that's apparently what the novellas are. Like they go on different adventures, dunk and egg. Okay. You know? So I think it's just going to be a completely different type of thing.
Well, hopefully the character.
I wanted to see him in the tournament. Yeah. It seems like because I didn't know where this story was going. I didn't know he'd get wrapped up in this Targaryen nonsense stuff. I wanted to see him in the tournament, like try to make a name for himself, and it doesn't look like the tournament is even going to happen.
It's not going to happen, dude. That tournament ain't happening.
No, at least we're not seeing it.
No. Yeah. But the other thing that I was really wondering about is I thought there was supposed to be a dragon egg that was a prize in a tournament, and I thought that was supposed to be in this season.
They haven't made any reference to that.
No reference to dragon at all. The only thing about a dragon is what's his name? The drunk older brother, Daron. Yeah, Daron, dude. Where he's like, "Oh, I've seen you in my dreams,
standing on top of a dead dragon.
You and a dragon fell from the sky. It was dead and you were alive." And Dunk's like, "Did I kill it?"
He's like, "I don't know.
I don't know, dude."
Fucking cock tease.
Yeah, dude. But like that's the only reference to a dragon. But I thought there was supposed to be a dragon egg, and then that dragon.
I was under the impression that through Dunk's entire life there is no existing dragons, but I could be wrong. You know,
apparently there's going to be one. You know, but this dragon egg would have been the symbolic tie-in between the three different series, between the game, you know, the House of the Dragon, where we see Daenerys Targaryen's 3 dragon eggs being born, and they are.
We've already seen those in in House of the Dragon, right? Yeah.
We saw those eggs
in the case. Yeah.
And they're playing with them, you know, within the family, tossing them back and forth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so if those eggs were somehow just shown any which way, you know, like that there are dragons in this world. You know, like because I thought they were supposed to be the prize for the joust.
I don't want dragons in this show.
No, but just to show that the eggs are still there, that would lend the continuity. Besides the fact that you have certain noble families, which are not the focus of the story, But you know, like that's really the content. Like the unique thing about Game of Thrones is the dragons. So to have those dragon eggs in this first season at some point, maybe
we may see them in the finale. Who knows?
Still got something, you know. But
Targaryens have them, right? Like they should have them.
They
No, they
should have
don't.
them, dude.
They don't, because the higher ups are like the dragons are gone.
At this point, I think that they think that the dragon eggs are petrified.
Yeah,
and
they're never gonna.
unviable.
Yeah, maybe.
And so that they are inert.
Do we ever get an explanation as to why those eggs stay there for so long without hatching? Or
It's something to do with the heat. I don't
Okay.
know, they needed a Daenerys Targaryen to sit on them, but her original dragon
but
egg
if she could sit on me, on my face.
back then, you know, but like her original dragon egg was hatched when she burned herself
Yeah.
in Khal
Oh, that's
Drogo's-
right. She went in there
Yeah.
with the egg and burned up, and
And-
she walked out
and
naked.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Game of Thrones right there.
No,
dude.
that shit was
That
nuts.
is Game of
dude.
Thrones. Like, you don't need an epic battle. Just give me something dramatic. You know, like she's hatching the dragon egg and the fire that should have consumed her.
And her
on the
clothes
funeral.
burned off, but
and
she's
she
fine.
Did,
Yeah,
she did
yeah.
that to kill a witch that killed her husband and her, because like the witch was actually the right one in that situation.
Excuse me, her husband? You mean Jason Momoa?
Yes. Jason Khal Drogo is his real name.
He was awesome, dude.
He was amazing, dude. Everything else is shit, dude. Aquaman, come on. But Khal Drogo, talk about CGI.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Not
yeah.
okay.
Can't make a movie
Anyway.
about an underwater superhero without CGI.
Oh, go ask brave James Cameron, The Abyss. Anyone? Let's go
that's
underwater.
that's people in vessels, not swimming
Fine.
around.
That's fine.
All right.
That's fine. Anyway, whatever. They're in
Yeah.
a pool. They're in a pool with little things to block out the light. You
Let's
know?
get out of
Whatever.
this.
Anyway, but so all I'm saying is that, like, dude, HBO can deliver. Game of Thrones can deliver, dude. Dramatic payoffs. The violence is not the payoff. The violence only matters if you care about the character development. And that's what Game of Thrones always
That's what
nails.
differentiates Game of Thrones from House of the Dragons. House of the Dragon has some of the
Character
greatest
development.
CGI dragons I've ever seen in my life on screen.
But you're not on
But-
board with the character.
Well, you don't
so-
care about anybody,
Yeah.
you know.
Like this one eats that one, whatever, you know. But
Game of Thrones, like there's so many underdogs. There's mysterious people. There's people that are badasses that start out good and then, or I'm sorry, that start out
well, the
bad.
character arcs are full flesh. They'll go from good to bad to bad to good, back and forth.
Jamie Lannister is
You know,
one of the most
Jamie Lannister,
fleshed out
greatest-
characters
yeah,
ever. He was the
absolutely.
one I hated the most with what they did with him at the end. It made no fucking sense.
Yeah,
you know?
he just left. Yeah, he just. Anyway,
Let's go. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much. We drink a cinema, and yeah, bye.